Hello, this is John Krysinsky, Pittsburgh Soccer Now, here on Pittsburgh Sports Live. With me today, um, Jason O'Keefe, the Robert Morris head coach. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a very special edition. This is a first time edition of the Coach's Corner. So after Riverhounds games, as many as we can this year, we are going to bring some area coaches on board, talk about their thoughts and their analysis on the Riverhounds game, and love to talk to you a little bit more about some things that are going on as well. Robert Morris and some obviously springtime is a unique time for kind of recharging the batteries for your program at Robert Morris, but. Let's first start off with the Riverhounds. Last night, played Loudoun United at Highmark Stadium. It was a 60 minutes, not much happened. And then after that, the Riverhounds brought a few subs on. Our headline in Pittsburgh Soccer Now, Dane Kelly, super sub. Jason, what were your thoughts on what you thought about the Riverhounds performance last night?
I thought it was very professional. You know, you're home. I think everybody in the world would love a super sub like Mr. Kelly. I think he's got 100+ goals in his career. You know, I saw these two play, I guess maybe a month and a half in preseason. Loudoun came up, played like a 2:00 game in front of nobody. This game was much higher level, much more, you know, you could see the teams were, you know, they're just getting into their season, 3-4 games, but much higher level, much higher intensity. Both teams have shown a lot of growth since when I saw them last. So from the Riverhounds standpoint, you know, I think they had, you know, a great game plan to come in and try and impose themselves in the game through their possession, kind of wear Loudoun down, which I think their game plan was to come in and, you know, sit in a lower block and hit them on transitional moments and restarts, which I thought they executed very well as well. So yeah, I think overall it was a pretty good game.
What were your thoughts overall with Loudoun? I mean, this is a team that struggled in the USL Championship its first few years. I think 3 years now. This is their fourth, probably lame duck year. Just your thoughts on having that many young players and trying to create a competitive team in this environment. But obviously, they hadn't surrendered a goal up in, you know, the 3 games and then, or a bunch of games and then into the Riverhounds 60 minutes in yesterday. So I think organizationally, they look pretty strong.
Yeah, I think, you know, they've added a couple of veterans, Grant Lillard from IU. I'm not quite sure what Grant has been the last few years, but, you know, he's certainly an experienced player, you know, to kind of balance off and really kind of help mold these younger professionals. You know, I'm good friends with Ryan Martin and GR Cannon from their staff. So I've talked to them about it, and their business model obviously is, you know, give these young kids from DC United Academy opportunity, you know, young pros, which, you know, can be frustrating for a coach, but at the same time, I think they're doing a really good job. They got some results last year. I think they're 2-1-1 maybe. This was their first blemish. With 3 road games is pretty impressive to start out the campaign. But yeah, I just think each club has their own unique model. You know, Riverhounds is a tried and true, long-term, established club where they can get a Kelly to come from other clubs and buy into, you know, Bob Lilly's philosophy and the club's tradition. So yeah, it was a little bit of a contrast, but I think both groups, you know, are certainly off to a good start.
Impressions of some of the younger players on the Riverhounds. We don't know maybe too well. You know, Bob has had a propensity to just put these guys out there. In fact, go very deep into his bench his first 4 games. He's been willing to start guys right out of college, and being a college coach, I'm sure that's pretty exciting for you to see that and see a lot of young, talented players given the opportunity with the Riverhounds.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, I think, look, our national team has showed us that if you give young players opportunity, no matter how high a level, what size the stage, you know, if they're good enough, they're good enough. So yeah, I mean, a couple of the young guys, Arturo, obviously from Pitt, you know, was probably one of the best defenders in the country. I'm a little bit shocked. I think people got, I don't know, scared away with something. He doesn't look very mobile, but he is very smart in his angles, and he is pretty athletic. He's very good in the air, very good on the ball. You know, so he was impressive for one of the young guys. Luis Arguardo, I think maybe he's been around a couple of years, but I think he's new to Pittsburgh. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but you know, his ability to just get on the ball and combine with was it Cicero Russell?
Yeah.
You know, I really like their combination play in midfield. You know,
Yeah, it was Argudo's
first
first start, and he just got some time at the end of the previous match against Detroit. So he had previously played with the Columbus Crew, and had some other stints with Miami and whatnot. So, but he's definitely a seasoned pro, but still pretty young guy.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how old Griffin is, but I liked his ability to just clean things up. You know, obviously they brought on Robbie later. He kind of came on with the season group that came on. The right back, Toby, you know, he actually played for a buddy of mine in college at Chowan. You know, I think he just made the roster, you know, right after we had seen that preseason game, and he's figured in some minutes and, you know, kind of helped solidify and close down the back when they kind of got their lead and they were just looking to close it out. But yeah, I mean, I think they've got a really good balance of, you know, seasoned veterans that have been around the block and know how to compete at this level, and some youth to sprinkle in. It's a nice combination. And the goalkeeper, Kevin, you know, I don't think he's a seasoned vet. He's still fairly young for a goalkeeper, but, you know, I think that was a great pickup, and he's doing really well for them.
Yeah, so they started Silva the last two games. Before that, Chase Vosvik. So again, Bob's showing the willingness to kind of give everybody a chance and kind of see how these guys, you know, get put into the fire and handle it. As you mentioned right away, you know, it's great to have a player like Dane Kelly, though. So in the 60th minute or so, the Hounds are still at 0-0. Was that a key turning point? Did they need something? They needed that extra little something to kind of, you know, get the attack going a little bit more. It seemed like they were dictating tempo, but they weren't really finishing chances. Now the keeper, Loudoun's keeper, Zamudo, made a couple really nice saves, but still, it seemed like the Hounds needed a little something to get over the hump.
Yeah, I think they were dictating possession. They were dictating tempo. They were having some nice combinations in the attacking third. It was really just that final ball or that final decision. You know, I think Cicero and the captain, I'm drawing a blank on his name, the 11.
Bernardo Forbes.
Yeah. So they had some really nice combinations out wide on the left, and it just either, you know, was just mistimed but they had really good movement, and were creating some chances. Like you said, Loudoun's goalkeeper did outstanding. I think they had worn them down enough, and really Loudoun got their two chances, you know. So that's why I'm saying their game plan, I think, went to form. You know, they kind of had held them at bay and then hit them on the break and then restart. And really, I thought at that point, the Hounds' first goal was kind of against the run of play, because I thought Loudoun had the two best looks in the game by that point. But then you bring on Alex Dixon, another seasoned veteran who knows, you know, how to rise to the occasion and produce big moments. And, you know, him and Dequa and Kelly just combined for the goal, and it looked kind of easy. And then they really started to just take over the game, corner kick after corner kick, free kick, you know, dangerous balls. And then they get another corner, and, you know, somehow Kelly, I don't know how tall he is. He doesn't look bigger than 5'10", but just rises up and smashes a header because he knows
that's
how to score goals.
Impressive. He's like just a hired assassin. He just gets out there and he can just finish, and he's just very clinical. But you know, some of those header goals are not easy. I mean, at that level, with guys that are much bigger than you and just still finding a way to get to the ball.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, it was overall impressive performance. Did you have a man of the match that somebody that really stood out? Obviously, Kelly the 2 goals, but I don't know if you had somebody who you would consider your man of the match.
Yeah, that's tough. Tough to beat a 2-goal scorer in a 2-0 win. I really like I said, Russell and Arturo kind of up the spine. I thought they kind of dictated things. Jelani obviously is a stalwart back there for the Hounds. He's very imposing. I thought he was good to solidify the back as well. But yeah, probably one of those two if I'm picking a runner up and third place, just because you can't deny Kelly with 2 goals and a 2-0 win. I
Yeah.
don't think.
Yeah, absolutely impressive performance. So the Riverhounds are now 3-0-1. Next up is the U.S. Open Cup on Tuesday. There's going to be a lot more to follow on Pittsburgh Soccer Now regarding the U.S. Open Cup. But Jason, before we let you go, just bring us up to speed in terms of your first full year at Robert Morris. I know it's strange because 2021 calendar year began with a season in January. I mean, you were playing soccer in January and February. It was just, I mean, competitive soccer games, for real. And then, of course, rolled into the fall 2021 season. And I think, as we all saw, it was definitely progress with your program.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it certainly was a lot of work, and having done this once or twice before, lessons learned. You don't go down those rabbit holes. You make quicker decisions, maybe on player selection or style of play or, how we're going to do things. And then recruiting was massive. We brought in 15 guys in August, basically, back to your point. Yeah, we got the job, got here in January, and in February we started playing Horizon League games, which was a new change as well, because we'd entered the Horizon League, I think, back in August, which was quite a step up from the NEC. And there's just so many changes between new league, new coach, new players, new style. And to those guys' credit, they really hung in there. They really tried to, just buy in, and we laid some foundational pieces. And then, you're bringing in 15 new guys in August, probably starting 7, 8, 9, 10, sometimes freshmen in matches throughout the year. And, we scheduled very aggressively to challenge these guys and show them what it's about against Pitts and Akron and Xavier and West Virginia. And, you're going into league play, kind of scratching your head, going, "Wow, what did I do there?" Because I think we hadn't won a game. We were like 1-6. We had beaten Northern Kentucky, which, kind of gives you an aha moment. First game in the Horizon League, you knock off the regular season defending champ at their place, and you think, okay. But then you still kind of navigate a couple of non-league games and a couple of league games that you drop, and you're just going, man. But, late in the season, we're playing our 7th league game at home versus Cleveland State, who I think at the time was 7-0,
right,
6-0 maybe. They were unbeaten, and we were 3-3 in the league. We had them on the ropes. We had a goal overturned. We had a PK that was overturned, and then you lose in double overtime, and you think, oh, okay, these young guys are starting to figure it out. There is a reason why we did those early preparations with those games. And we certainly, the back half of the season, navigated a little bit better and got more comfortable. And then, nicked our way into the 16 playoff in the Horizon League, which was, there's still a lot of things that we want to do much better, but that was something tangible you could point to for the guys to say, look, we haven't been to the playoffs in 4 or 5 years. We've never been to a Horizon League playoff. Like, this was, we made some success, but nobody's satisfied. Nobody's, content. Everybody came back in January hungry to get more. And obviously we returned a big group, which is always great in the spring. We added 3 players, which have all jumped right in and added, very good dynamic pieces in every line. One in the back, one in the midfield, one on the attack. And then, we put together the spring schedule. We wanted to get a lot of minutes for guys. So we did We got 3 doubleheader days because in the spring, you get 5 dates. So we've got we opened up with AB and Cal U and played two teams, 60 minutes or so. So everybody got a run out, and then we played Damon and Lock Haven, and everybody same thing. And we set some goals, that were they were within range, but they were, ambitious. And then we played Akron yesterday. We'll play Canadian International Youth Team, which is exempt, and we'll play Gannon, and then we'll finish up with Penn State on April 16th. So a good balance of getting a lot of guys minutes, playing some teams like a Lock Haven, AB, Gannon that have won championships, Division II in their league, have played in the NCAA. So that'll test us. So, so far it's been good. We're 4-1. We've scored 11 goals and conceded 3. And all 3 were against Akron yesterday in a 3-2 loss. But, obviously, like I told the guys, they're one of the top 10 programs over the last decade for a reason.
Absolutely.
They win a lot, and to hang tough where in the fall, and it's a little different at their place than it is ours. And, but there was certainly a lot more positives and progress, whereas in the fall it was like, even though it was 0-0 at halftime and they didn't score until the 60th minute, you just felt under pressure and you just didn't know, how we're going to get out of here. Whereas yesterday we had some opportunities, obviously scored a couple of goals, which was great. So, yeah, the spring is shaping up to be, exactly what we wanted. Every day competitive, have a focus and a determination from minute 1 to 90 of a game or training, because that's where we our youth showed up in the fall a lot. We'd be great for this 20-minute period, and then we'd check out for 5 or 7 minutes, and good teams will punish you, so.
Well, it sounds like things are on track, but to have that spring season, to be able to do what you're doing and play those type of games and unique, Canadian youth national team, that's a unique match. Even like you said, you're not probably going to play a Gannon, Lock Haven type teams, but they have a lot of talent at that level. Gannon is just there every year. They're constantly right there. And I salute you. You definitely have adopted to the Western PA lingo, because you identified Cal U instead of saying California University of Pennsylvania. So Cal, you're it's otherwise known as Harvard on Demand. But anyway, I think that it definitely senses that, Jason, you've brought a certain level of organization and structure. And obviously, all those things are paramount with a new coach, and it just feels like there's a really good momentum building in Moon, and we obviously from our standpoint, we just want to see the game grow in this area. And one of the things about the Robert Morris program is John Kowalski, going way back, and Coach Dennison, and the thing is that they maintained a tradition and really good players that came through, and 2 of those players are just doing wonderful things in the USL Championship, have just become mainstay at the 2nd division level as very, very successful players, Nico Brett and Devin Speedy Williams. And Speedy was with, I guess you took the opportunity to have your players connect with Speedy through a virtual, I guess, sort of forum there, and the players got a chance to learn, I'm sure, from one of the best, really, over the past 5-6 years. Speedy has been just consistently one of the best central midfielders in the USL Championship, and obviously he's earned his stripes with his Jamaican national team as well. So we're always keeping a close eye on Speedy's progress, but just maybe talk a little bit about that experience for you and your players.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Robert Morris has got a steep tradition, starting back with John and Bill continuing it, and Brandon. And yeah, we're just trying to continue to achieve at the level that some of those teams and, years of success. And look, I'm the leader, but there's a lot of people, our players first and foremost. They put in so much work. Matt Evans, my associate head coach, Dan Yates and Jay O'Donnell. I mean, these guys are just crushing it and really putting out a tremendous effort to provide for our guys and really help bring this program, back to its winning ways. And part of that, we talk about it all the time is respecting and valuing those that have come before you and those that are going to come after you. So in that theme, I've been kind of messaging with Speedy, obviously, as you mentioned, an extremely busy time with qualification,
right.
Preseason with Miami, and we finally had nailed down a day because we've been, kind of doing these Friday afternoon meetings, where we'll review video or, Jay's broke down the whole fall with statistical components and video that we've been kind of sprinkling in. But I thought this was a nice break, and we finally nailed a date. And I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, I've done it several times with other guys that I've coached that have gone on to do great things at the professional level, and they always just kill it. And it's a proud coach moment. I didn't even coach Speedy, but Bill and Brandon should be extremely proud of the young man he's become. And soccer side of Pete, aside, I mean, this guy is just, he's buttoned up as can be, sharp, passionate about his soccer, his football, passionate about Jamaica, and passionate about his experience at Robert Morris, which is what he shared with us and kind of just gave our guys, some wisdom because, day to day, 18 to 22-year-old kids, they get caught up in, oh, I didn't play or I didn't start or I didn't score or we didn't win. And they really need to step back more often and just appreciate their hard work. And he touched upon that. He touched upon, just loving his teammates, which we talk about all the time. And then, making sacrifices for what you want down the road, which is, he shared a story at senior year where, he had classes to still attend to get his degree, but New York Red Bulls were interested and he had to find a way up there and just didn't know how, didn't have any money, and was on a Greyhound bus for 10 hours, 20 hours round trip to go for a trial. And they liked him. They wanted him to come back, and he had these classes still. So said he made like 4 or 5 trips from Moon to New York City on these Greyhounds. And he just thought, God, what am I doing? Like, is this going to pay off? Is this worth it? And he just talked about he just kept, that resiliency and that steadfast approach that, he believed in himself. And obviously, it's paid off dividends. And yeah, it was just a tremendous, 40 minutes that we had with him to get his perspective on a lot of different things. So, and it's crazy because they all sound like the coaches. They say these things that we say all the time, and you hope hearing it from a different voice, a guy that sat in that room and been on that, that training ground or in those classes, that now has achieved this success, to hear it from him, a different voice, a different message, but still the same. You hope it resonates. But man, so appreciative of his time because he was super busy, and it was really awesome.
That's great. And we did see that on social media. I think Pittsburgh Soccer Now retweeted that, but that's really good stuff. And Jason, thank you so much for joining me and providing us your analysis of last night's Riverhounds match, and obviously learning more about Robert Morris men's program, which we are going to be watching closely and covering as much as we can for Pittsburgh Soccer Now. Look forward to maybe doing this again before the fall season comes, and of course during the fall season, definitely connecting with you and providing as much coverage as we can. So thank you, Jason.
Thank you, John. Anytime. We really appreciate all the support and coverage, man. Like you, just trying to grow the word of this game, in any pocket we can. And I think we're going to get a lot of help. There's been a lot of soldiers out there like yourself carrying the flag for many, many years, and, having back-to-back World Cups coming up with the U.S. men's national team in it, hosting one. The buzz is coming, and, the wave is coming. So appreciate you being the stalwart in between, and hopefully we get some help now. But I appreciate everything, man. Come back on anytime.
All right. Thanks so much, Jason.